Coach, welcome to Beckley Studio. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming on. We're really excited to have you on the show. So let's talk some baseball, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right. So before we get into this upcoming season, let's kind of take a step back and reflect on last season. It was your first year as head coach at Indiana, and your team went on to win the Big Ten regular season title, and you were named Big Ten Coach of the Year. That's a huge honor, especially first-year head coach. What did that mean to you?
I think the first thing I was really excited about was the players. When we went through the interview process, they indicated that was kind of their big goal. They wanted to try to win the Big Ten regular season. It was something they had really strived for years, and so to have those guys be able to accomplish that, I was very excited for them. Secondarily, I was excited to have a great coaching staff. Obviously, to be able to go out and hire those guys and to bring those guys in from all over the country, it made me feel like we had gone out and done a really good job bringing a great staff, and they had obviously coached the guys very well. We were able to execute a game plan at a high level and have a lot of success. So, and I would say thirdly, being from here, being born and raised an Indiana kid, an Indiana fan, I was really excited to be able to represent my community and my hometown and to have a lot of success there early on. I think really hopefully carries forward the traditions and allows us to take a lot of momentum into the future.
Right. Now, we talked about you guys did have a successful season last year as your first year of head coach, kind of struggled a bit in postseason play. So now that you have a year coaching this team under your belt, what are your hopes and expectations for this upcoming 2020 season?
Well, I think every year brings its own challenges. Our challenges last year will be different this year. We had to really invest into more dynamic stuff on the mound. Our pitching staff did a really nice job last year. We were reliant on off-speed pitches primarily to be able to put guys away. That's a tough thing to do, and sometimes you run out of tricks. And so we really wanted to try to invest into more power stuff on the mound, allow us to pitch late into the season with that kind of stuff. So as you look into transition from last year into this year, it's a young pitching staff that's really talented, has really a lot of power stuff, can pitch off of a fastball more so. But that also comes with youth and experience. And so we'll have to really be able to take care of the ball and to manage the game until those guys have their feet set underneath them and are able to get the experience they need.
And build up the confidence. Sure. Now, your roster is going to look a little different this year. In fact, your team had a school-high 10 players be selected to the MLB draft. That says a lot about the program. But you still have a lot of very talented guys coming back.
Right.
So can you just talk a little bit about the leadership that you expect from some of the older guys this season?
Sure, absolutely. From a cultural standpoint, and culture is such a buzzword, but the environment, the expectation, the standard, once you're working your way through that the first time, that's always the hard part, to get everybody kind of on the same page and to communicate in an effective way. Once that's set, the foundation is set, it becomes much easier. And from that standpoint, this year I feel really strong about the collection of upperclassmen and their ability to cultivate and to grow the young guys, to invest into them and to communicate effectively themselves. So I feel great about that part of it. Maybe I think probably our strength at this point is our ability to work together, to communicate, to have a shared vision and a common goal, and be able to go out to execute a game plan, and knowing that whether we're successful or not in the moment, we have an ability to overcome and to grow. And either way, we start the season 0-6 or 6-0, they're not going to call the season off, right? So they're not going to give us a national championship or cancel the rest of the game. So we have to continue to grow and to learn. And the best groups of learners are the ones that have great leadership within. Unfortunately, my eligibility is exhausted, so I can't go out and do much to help besides lead and guide. But I feel great about our upperclassmen and what they've done to carry the program.
And the roster isn't going to be finalized until February-ish. So what holes are you still looking to fill in your roster for this season?
Well, we're making some decisions. There's always injuries, and those are the kind of big things. Is a couple guys who's going to be healthy enough and not, and so all of the decisions or all of the holes have been filled in the recruitment process leading up to this, but just kind of who's going to be healthy here in the last couple of weeks moving forward.
Right, and this upcoming season, you guys have a really tough schedule. You're playing 19 games against 9 teams who were in the NCAA tournament last year. You've probably heard this before. Oh, you haven't? Well, you're also playing 23 games against 12 teams who finished in the top 100 for the NCAA RPI rankings.
Yeah.
So very tough, and obviously
Right.
some of those teams are conference teams.
Right.
But how do you think such a tough schedule will help you prepare for not only the conference race, but also postseason play, hopefully?
That's terrific. So we've always been firm believers that there's no point in sheltering the guys. There's no point in hiding from great competition early in the season. If your goals are to be the best team that you can be in the last month of the season, then you have to expose them. You have to put them in big environments. You know, you've got to be able to try to the best of your abilities to recreate what it's going to be like to play in the Big Ten tournament, to play in a regional, super regional, and beyond. If you want to excel in those scenarios, it's really hard to go where you haven't been already. And for us, it helps us to expose those guys, but also to find our internal flaws. Okay, so we thought this is how this was going to work, and this is how this is going to work, and hey, both of them failed terribly, but this worked really well, and so we can move in that direction. And so when you do that, if you're scheduling difficult, it prepares the guys for a late season run, but it also allows us to find the weaknesses early and be exposed and to make an adjustment. If you look last year, you know, I think what's forgot is that after the first month or 6 weeks, we were under 500. We were swept at Tennessee. We lost a road game at Cincinnati after having a lead late. But through the really difficult things, you were able to make adjustments. When I was a kid, my dad always said a hard head makes for a soft behind, right? And in many ways, we can have a hard head, but we're going to have to learn. And playing in great competition allows us to learn faster and to grow. And ultimately, like I said earlier, if our goal is to be the best team that we can be in the last month, then we have to learn through the process. And sometimes that goes through failure. And sometimes that goes through having success when you didn't know you were capable of that success.
And you mentioned your dad, and he was actually an assistant coach here back in the, I was about to say 18th century. Whoa, way too far back. Back in the late 1980s.
Yeah.
So what does it mean for you to be a head coach at not only one of the top programs in your home state, but also where your dad once coached?
It sometimes doesn't seem real, right? I grew up 35, 40 minutes up the road, and I watched my dad coach here, and grew up watching every IU basketball and football game. And I think for the majority of sons, they want to grow up to be like their dad.
Right.
And I know that I did. I wanted to be like him in many ways, and to be able to come back to Indiana and represent him and my family and our community that was all Indiana fans. It's something I always dreamed of and worked very hard towards, and that was my goal, and to succeed and to do that, I'm very blessed and very fortunate, and I don't ever forget that when I wake up. And you know, everybody has difficulties, everybody has things in their job that they have to problem solve and manage, and I wake up every day feeling, you know, knowing and remembering how fortunate that I am to be here, and how excited we are to accept this challenge.
Right. Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and
Absolutely.
we wish you nothing but success for your second year as head coach.
I certainly appreciate it.